Well, here we are again. Hi, how are you? My name is Poochie Hill. I am the host of Deadline, and I'm here with Mr. Mike Kinney, who has been serving our community and the state of New Jersey in all media facets since 1982. What's going on, big guy?
Hey, Pooch, it's glad to be here, man. Always good to see you.
Well, I'm going to throw you off, and I want you to let it be known right now who is doing well in lacrosse, because he's covering lacrosse right now.
Well, Del Barton is my #1 team right now, and Seton Hall is the #2 team. Mountain Lakes is an excellent team. Summit is always good. Westfield is always good. Don Bosco Prep. You know, a lot of the teams that you know from football have become lacrosse powers, but a lot of the public schools are still powerhouses in lacrosse, like Mountain Lakes, like Summit, like Westfield. Ramapo is a very good program. There's a lot of good programs. Most of the powerhouse programs, Montclair used to be one. They're kind of getting back. They lost their traction a little bit. But Caldwell is a growing program. West Essex is a growing program. There's a lot of up and coming programs among the public schools, and it's a great sport. And I want to see it developed in Newark, and it's becoming. There's a Newark Lacrosse Club now, which a lot of the other lacrosse programs, there's a lot of really great guys in lacrosse around the state who are trying to help out now. It's something that Eastside has always had not always, but Eastside's had a lacrosse program for quite a long time, but it's never really caught on within the city of Newark. Mostly it's just East Side kids who play, even though it's been open to kids, to other public school kids, because that's the only program in the city. It's just something a lot of the kids in Newark don't know about.
Has it been considered a club down there at East Side?
It's a high school team. They play high school games. They're not good. They never have any depth, and you can imagine the kids at East Side aren't picking the sport up till they're in high school. And that's difficult because you're playing against teams, even not the great team. They don't play among the best teams, against the best teams in New Jersey, because the best kids in New Jersey start when they're in second grade, third grade, just like Pop Warner football, just like Little League baseball. It's a sport that, you know, it's developed at a young age, the skill package. The East Side kids aren't really picking it up till high school.
What about the girls?
The girls even slower coming on. So as far as around here, but the girls around the state, there's some very good girls lacrosse programs around the state as well. I don't cover the girls though, but there's some excellent programs there too. The boys I've done since the '80s.
How is it, because Jim Brown was a lacrosse player?
Yes, he was.
Can you explain for our audience the parables that you obtain from playing football, not only with eye and hand coordination, but also the fact that you're running, you're stopping, you're turning, you're passing? Explain some of those nuances.
Those elements for sure. Well, you look at a lacrosse field. A lacrosse field is 120 yards long. So it picks up a lot of different sports within that game. It looks like it's hockey on field because there's goals with goalies and there's room behind the goal to play, just like there is in hockey. So there's some similarities to hockey there, and a lot of people, if they don't know lacrosse, will look at it and say, wow, that must be like hockey. Spatially, the field itself would remind you of soccer. Or football because of the length of the field. So that would remind you of those two sports. However, what it's most like is basketball. In lacrosse, there's 10 guys on the field. There's goalies, and then there's 9 other guys. There's 3 who can't cross into one side each time. There's 6 guys at one time playing against 6 other guys. They're playing offense, trying to score against the goalie. And the way the offenses are set up, the way the defensive schemes are set up, to get through screens, to cover, to be weak side help. It's more like basketball. It's played more like basketball. Once it's settled down and you're playing 6-on-6, it's like 5-on-5 basketball, just an extra guy and guys have sticks in their hands. So there's that element just a little strange to that. But guys who play basketball pick up that sport pretty quickly because they understand that's how it's played. Right?
Does it help them in the basketball perspective?
Does lacrosse help basketball?
Yes.
What it helps is there's certainly a toughness and a physicality to lacrosse,
Yeah,
which will help you with basketball, but directly no. Basketball is going to help lacrosse for sure because of the quickness and the speed that you play the game. That's going to help you. That's going to translate into your lacrosse. Football is going to translate into your lacrosse, and lacrosse is going to translate to football too, because of the agility of lacrosse that you're going to use on the football field.
Do they have collisions?
They do.
Oh,
They
really?
do. Not as much as they used to. There used to be a lot of, but yes, there's collisions all the time. Absolutely.
Really?
There's checking that's legal, and of course you're carrying sticks around, so guys get whacked with sticks sometimes, quite a lot. So there's definitely a physical aspect, and the game is fast. They call
Really?
they call it the fastest game on feet because the ball travels over 100 miles an hour.
Almost as quick as baseball.
It's on a consistent level, it's quicker than baseball because the ball is moving all the time.
Okay. Well, let me put this out there for you. He's a Cougar from Keene University.
Mm-hmm.
I had to throw that in there. And
Proud Cane alum.
well, that college itself is, if you ask me, and from what I've seen and read, it's really setting the bar for this millennium. It really, really is setting the bar.
You go down Morris Avenue in Union, that's Canes everywhere, man. It's on
Yes.
both sides. You see the name everywhere. We have there's other campuses within the state, and even in China, there's a Cane campus.
Really?
Believe it or not. But you've seen the facilities, and Phil Simms was here with you. This guy's bringing in all the big guys. You must be, your list must have run out with me, because I saw Phil Simms here. I saw Roger Leone here a couple weeks ago. You're bringing in everybody, all the big hitters, man. And then, like you say, well, Mike Kinney must. Oh yeah, okay. We have nobody else. Mike Kinney will be here.
That's not
Thank
true.
you. No, but Kane, you've seen the facilities there. The Phil Simms
Yes.
game, the Phil Simms game is there, and they have all kinds of high school events at Kane going on at the basketball court, at the football field. It is a beautiful athletic facility, unparalleled at the Division III level.
Let me say this here. That university now is one of the forerunners in dealing with the urban and suburban.
It always was.
I mean,
It always was.
It's
That's why I love it. That's why I love it. Because when I went to Kane, I felt like I was home. When I went to Kane, there were people like me at Kane.
You don't have nostalgia. That's the word I would use.
Well,
it's very welcoming.
It is welcoming. And here's the thing about Kane. When I started, Kane was a school, and a lot of the people from upper crust or the big time universities would laugh at Kane because Kane's acceptance rate was always a little more forgiving. They forgave us guys who weren't the greatest scholars in high school, and we were able to get entrance in there. And there are a lot of first time college students still at Kane, and there were then. Nobody in my family had ever graduated from college when I went to Kane.
Really?
Nobody. And I was the first in my family to graduate from college, and first generation college people. That's what Kane embraced. Kane embraced inner city kids.
It was not Newark State College.
No. It was Kane College.
Do you think it
was Kane College. It was Newark State before my time. It was Kane College, but it wasn't Kane College for a long time. I started in the fall of '77 at Kane, and there were still mats at some of the buildings at Kane that said NSC mats. They hadn't quite gotten around to KC all over the place.
Do you think, Mike, that, and this is just a question, because Newark is such a colorful and prominent northeastern city on the eastern seaboard, that might have hurt it then, or was that because of economical reasons? Who knows? But the name itself.
Hurt Kane? You mean while it was Newark State?
Yes.
No, I don't at all. I think what happened was the Kane family had all that land up there.
Oh.
And they gave that. It's Kane University because the Kane family gave Kane.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well,
There's still the Kane Estate is still across Morris Avenue there on the campus itself, on what is now the East Campus. It's still there. And they gave the university lots of money and lots of land build there, to move from Newark, because it was in
Where
one
was it?
building.
By
It
the
was in one,
Manpower?
it was like off Broad. It was like off Broad. Yeah,
By the old
it was
Manpower,
one building,
yeah.
and it was a teachers' college. It began as Newark Normal School,
Okay.
and then it was Newark Teachers College, and then Newark State College, and then became Kane. Yeah.
Well, we just spoke on something that's very important, and that is the fact that coming out of the Union public school system, the Newark public school system, and I would even say Hudson, Keene University is a welcoming blessing for them. And as you stated, for so long, at least 40 years, it has always had some type of compassion to help those that try to embellish themselves to a higher hiatus with their education.
Yep.
From a tuition perspective, from a social dynamic, and also the caring of the teachers there.
Yes.
Now I'm going
Yes.
to go from that there to, how did you get into being a reporter? Because you have the greatest shorthand of notes I've ever seen over 30 years, and that has to be your own, or did you learn that somewhere in journalism?
I learned it. It's my own style, which I learned through the years. I picked up, different ways to take notes through the years. I never learned shorthand. No, my mother knew shorthand. My mother was a secretary, and she was the executive secretary for the East Orange Fire Department for a long time.
Really?
Yes, and she would go to all the meetings, all the board meetings, and of course, being the great secretary she was, she knew how to do shorthand, so she could sit in the meeting and do that. So I knew she did that, and I was always very impressed with that, but I could never learn shorthand itself. So I developed my own style of shorthand. So if someone saw one of my books from a game, you'd have no idea what I was saying. However, I could go back to a book 30 years ago and write that game again from the notes that I took. So yeah, I keep copious notes within a game, and because that's the story I want to tell. I don't want it to just be a game result ever. I want it to be, something that's meaningful to the people who are involved in that game. Something that the kids will look back on and say, "Wow, Mike Kinney cared about me."
But you are a product of this facility. How's about giving a little bit of your baseball and things of that nature there? How you got from being an athlete, because a lot of people don't know that, an athlete into the sports, being that we all get older, so you still want to give back, and that is one of your ways of giving back, like you said, hieroglyphically, by painting a picture through your writing.
Well, I tell you what, as a kid, I had two ambitions, and I had them early. My first ambition was always to be, playing for the New York Yankees. That was the first ambition as a 5-year-old. When I was playing at the boys club, when I was playing baseball at the boys club on Broad Street in Newark. That's how I got. That's my baseball start, playing for the Senators at the boys club on Broad. I always loved baseball. Both my grandfathers were very good baseball players, not at a professional level or anything like that, but they were both very good baseball players, and they taught me the game. My dad was not much of an athlete. My dad worked as a young guy when he was in the Navy. He worked as a young guy, and he didn't really catch on to sports the way his dad did. My dad's grandfather was a very good baseball player. My mom's father was an exceptional baseball player, and he played in the service.
That's deep competition. A lot of people don't know there's a lot of competition in those inner service competitions.
Yep. So they taught me the game basically, especially my mom's grandfather, because he lived across the street from me in Newark. I lived on Delavan Avenue in Newark. That's where I grew up initially. Okay. Loved baseball. So I was going to be playing for the Yankees. Well, I found out pretty early in my high school career, freshman, sophomore year, you weren't playing for the Yankees, son. You were just not good enough in baseball. I was a good defensive player. I had a good glove. I had a good arm, but I was an okay hitter, and never had really great speed. So I was a good baseball player, not a great baseball player. However, I always loved, from the time I was in grammar school, I don't ever remember not loving how to write.
Can you explain the nuances of baseball? Because I've learned I don't mind wrestling, I don't mind boxing, I don't mind football. But I always had a problem understanding how the ball could be coming so fast. You got the back catcher here and the umpire over top of him. That was just too much for me. Mm-hmm. Could you explain the nuances of how baseball is not as much physical as it is mental.
It's mental. It's definitely mental. First of all, that aspect of it, pitchers get so good. I mean, not only do they throw hard, but obviously they can throw curveballs. They can throw off-speed pitches. And it's all about, it's all about situation. It's situation of the game itself. Are you the leadoff hitter? Is there a man on second base and one out? Is there a man on third base and one out? As far as what you want to do as a hitter and what you're expecting the pitcher's going to give to you based upon the situation. And then it changes every time a pitch is thrown and the count changes. So if he throws 2 strikes and it's 0-2, now I'm in a situation where I've just got to make some contact and put the ball in play. If it's a 2-1 pitch or a 3-0 pitch, now I'm in control as a hitter, and I can wait it out and wait for a pitch that I want. So a hitter will tell you he's looking for a certain area or a certain pitch when he first starts his count. And again, it depends on, is there a man on first? Are you asked to bunt? Is there a man on second? Are you looking to put the ball, onto the right side so he can score from second? Is there a man on third and no out? You're looking to put the ball in the air so he can tag up and score. It's so situational and it's so mental. And the biggest mental aspect of it is the failure in baseball. It's built into the sport.
Really?
Yeah. You think about a Hall of Famer, right? Hall of Fame
They
baseball.
go strictly by stats for baseball.
Okay, a Hall of Famer hits 300 for his career. Well, that Hall of Famer then was up 10 times, and he failed 7 times. He failed 7 times. He was successful 3 times. He's in the Hall of Fame. He's in the Baseball Hall of Fame because he failed 7 out of 10 times while he was at the plate. The game is failure. The game is humiliating because you're up there all by yourself, and there's that pitcher, and he's way better than you are. And he struck you out 3 times today. And now you're up a 4th time, and you got to deal with that up there all by yourself, and you don't have
no teammates.
Yeah, when you lose the ball, down the court, you can go back and play great defense to get it right back and score on the next basket, and the people will cheer for you. Or you miss a tackle. Your free safety helped you out. He'll tell you, he'll pat you, say next time, say you better get me next time. So now you're going to fill. Now you're going to, you're going to do your job as the outside linebacker.
So speak of the eras. Speak of the eras then.
Errors are horrible. Errors sit. Here's the thing about it. Again, if you're playing football, you're playing basketball. There are expectations within the game that you're going to get the ball at some point. Okay. You're going to set a screen, and that's going to help your team. You're going to set a nice block. You're going to get out and get a nice block. You're going to occupy your man and let that defensive tackle in and get the tackle. There's so many things you can do play by play. Well, baseball, you have no idea how many times that game you're going to get the ball if you get it all. So you're playing third base. It's the 3rd inning. There's a man on second base now, and there's a ball hit to you, and you bobble it. You can't make the play. The ball skips into left field. He scores. It's a scoreless game.
Still out there in the sun.
And you may not get one for the rest of the game, but you got to deal with that. You got to deal with the fact that, okay, next one I'm going to get. Next one's mine. When I played baseball, every single pitch, and any good baseball player will tell you that, before every pitch is made, I surveyed the situation. How many men on base? How many outs? What's he likely to throw? What am I doing when I get the baseball? Because I'm getting the baseball.
This is the nuances.
This is the nuance. I'm getting the baseball. No one else is getting the ball. I'm getting the ball, and here's what I'm doing. If it's a ground ball, this is what I'm doing. If it's a line drive, this is what I'm doing. If it's a pop-up, this is what I'm doing. Before every pitch, not after every 5 or 6 pitches. You had to be prepared to act instantaneously with the ball in your hands once you got it, because you might not get it for 5 innings. So that's the mental aspect of the game. It's so much.
The crowd is giving you the business. The crowd is giving you the business.
Yeah, my father's giving me the business.
Well, I got another one for you. You've been covering high school sports for so long, including myself. And I want to ask you about this here. I'm going to put you on the spot. The 3,000-yard backfield in Newark, New Jersey. Who do you think of?
3,000-yard backfield.
3,000 yards. 1,000.
Amir Penix.
Got to go deeper.
Now you're talking my time?
Yes, sir. Maybe a little before you. I'm going to say Barringer. I'm going to give you a hint.
Okay. Norm Granger.
No.
3,000-yard backfield. It's probably before my time then of covering. Yeah, because There wasn't anybody when I covered at Barringer with that kind of with that kind of yardage.
You started 82, that's right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Dexter, Robbie, and Pete Shaw. That's before you. That's
Oh my
the
goodness.
3000.
Okay, I certainly know those guys. Yeah,
That's the
okay.
3000. So
but I did
now-
not cover them.
Now
yeah.
I'm going to come up around our time, 79, 82. Ooh. I'm going to pop out names and you go with it. You ready? Tony Manley.
Tough, man.
Okay.
Tough as
Good enough.
nails.
That's good enough. Noam Granger.
I didn't cover Norm so much. But before I saw him play, and he was a man in the high school uniform.
Amongst boys.
Yes, he was a man in a high school uniform. Don't know why that was illegal. Playing against him.
That's terrible. Okay.
And Andre Tippett too. I saw play in high school. I mean, he's around my time, but man.
What about Curtis Green?
Curtis was before I covered. Yeah.
He got out with me. Mm-hmm. So Tony Howard, that's a little before you too.
Yes, a little before. Yep.
Sylvester Hill.
Also a little before. Yeah.
Joe Lane.
No, too big, but also before. Yeah.
Trying to figure out who was 82. Stanley Woods.
Yes, Stanley Woods. He was one of the best defensive ends I ever saw at the high school level.
Okay.
He was outstanding.
Okay. Let me ask you this here. We're going to switch to basketball. Why is the history of basketball in the city of Newark so prominent? Every year. And the girls even took it to another level.
It is the capital of basketball in the state of New Jersey. There's there's no question about it. There's no way in the world that there's better basketball talent year after year than in the city of Newark. Now you think of
Hudson Kennedy would,
and you think of Newark, the public schools, but you think of all the kids who are from Newark who played elsewhere. You know, someone like, let's say, Deshaun Butler, right? Deshaun Butler played at Bloomfield Tech.
Okay.
Great teams, and then played at West Virginia, and in the league. He's a Newark guy. Mm-hmm. Lots of Newark kids who went elsewhere, played for either parochial schools or the tech schools.
I understand.
But man, the talent level is immense. I mean, obviously there was such a dedicated group of coaches. First of all, there were very good like park leagues and stuff like that. I know back in the day that the kids played all the time. That's changed a lot. But you got guys like Sean McCray who keep that alive with the Zoo Crew, teaching kids, giving kids opportunities to play, and they play, they stick around, and it just creates such a great competitive atmosphere for the game. And obviously when you talk about the game itself, what do you need? You need a ball, right? And you need a will and a desire. And the desire, man, I don't know of anybody tougher than Newark kids,
Well, being that you said that there, and you basically finalized our segment in the aspect that you put a hypothesis on saying that Newark has an abundance of talent and dedication from their coaches. But what I would like to say to you is that I speak for all of us. We appreciate your coverage. We appreciate your heart and soul and your consistency. And know that you are my brother, and I thank you so much for that and coming on my show.
My pleasure.
As I always end each segment by saying, before we can love all people, we must first love ourselves. Our guest today was Mr. Mike Kinney. He's been covering sports in the state of New Jersey over 30 years. Thank you. Hey man, I try. I try, big bro.
Ready to go, Pooch?
I'm trying, man. I'm just trying to give back because there's so much history here, Mike, athletically. Well, we're here again for another segment, but today I have an individual that came from the urban community that has been laboring and toying with our youth and trying to open up doors of prosperity to help them to accomplish whatever they think they can accomplish. I'm here today with Coach Darnell Grant. How are you doing today, big bro?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me, Poochie.
Well, I want you to relax, and we're going to give it to him straight. How did you get into football?
Well, you know, I'm from the Bronx, right? So,
Oh, you
yeah,
are?
I was born in Bronx, New York, and my family, my mom wanted a better opportunity for me and my brother, so we moved to New Jersey. So I was a baseball player. I played baseball, and that was mine. I wanted to be Reggie Jackson. I bat lefty, and so.
You got something against lefties? I'm left-handed.
Nah, I bat lefty, man.
Okay.
Throw righty, bat
Do you
lefty.
Do you write left-handed?
So, you know, I went to Catholic school. So they said that first day, said, hold your pencil up.
Already
I
know.
did like, they said, no.
Already
so
know.
I can't. But one of my sons is left-handed, though, so
Already
we're
know.
going to go full circle.
I didn't know they still did that.
Well, when I was, remember, it's the 70s.
You're a little
man.
bit behind me.
Yeah,
But
it's 70s. It's the 70s in the Bronx, man.
Oh, my
So we come
gosh.
here and we didn't have youth football. You know, we were just talking about like the great Ralph Steele who passed away, man. Rest in
Yes.
peace, Ralph. He started our program in the 90s, but for us growing up, we didn't have that. But I remember like loving the Cowboys and being a big Tony Dorsett fan and begging my mom. Remember the old Sears catalog?
Yes, I do.
So begging mom to buy me a helmet and shoulder pads, right? So, you know.
Everything in the box?
Whatever, yeah, one box. So I got the helmet, the shoulder pads, right, and the pants, but I didn't have the pads. So I took the books.
Oh, you put books?
Put books, yeah, that's what we had, man. Put the books and tissue on the knees, right? And there was no one to play. So then me, always, I guess I might have always been a coach, man. So we had, one of my friends had cousins that lived on 10th Street in Newark, and they had equipment too. So we would go to this old cemetery back there in the
what you're
graveyard.
talking about,
And we would
Rose Street.
and so I would tell my mom, I'm going to the park. We get on the bus. We get on a 25 bus, get off, walk into the cemetery, and we play a game. We play, man. We play all
In
day
the
long.
graveyard.
In the graveyard.
Tell them.
Yes, in the graveyard.
I think that's Rose Cemetery.
Yes, it is. And then we'll come back home, put a quarter in the bus, and go back. And then from then, I just loved the game, man. Then I got to high school, and a guy by the name of Gil Bragg. You know, Gil's a fantastic guy. He was my first coach, and him and Bruce Essence kind of taught me the ropes. I was raw as heck, and I thought I could do everything, and they kind of slowed me down. And then, you know, I played all through high school, and our head coach, he was let go right after our last game. So our college prospects didn't hit the way we thought they should. So I ended up going to Upsala College and playing there and then, you know, getting involved in the campus politics and politics. And so I was president of student body. The school was closing, so I couldn't play my senior year. So I thought I was done with football. I could get a teaching job. I'm pre-law, so I'm going to teach. I'm going to teach 3 years, make enough money to pay for law school, and you know. And then Gil calls me. He's the head coach. He says, like, I need you because you owe me. I said, yes, sir. So I came and I coached, and I was like, man, it's gasoline and matches, brother. It was over.
Well, I'm going to say this to you. You're giving back what was given to you.
Exactly.
Why is that such a burning desire for you as a black man to do that?
Well, I'll just say this, right? And I am the product of like really hard praying parents, right? And I was lucky enough to benefit from a great village of folks around me. Cause I wasn't the polished product you see today growing up. You know, I had a little more heart than sense, right? And I would find little situations to get myself into. But I was lucky I got some really good people around me who kind of held the line.
Well, coming from the Empire State
Yeah.
and then coming to Brick City, that within itself was a navigation of nothing but the good Lord.
Yes.
Regardless of what you call
Yes,
them, and
yes.
as you said, a praying family.
Yes.
Next in line is that you are the older brother.
Yes.
Speak of that.
So yes, I'm the oldest, and then my parents still worked in New York the whole time. So we were like latchkey kids. My younger brother's 7 years younger than I am. So, you know, I'm 9, and he's 2. We're in the house together. You know, I mean, nobody, it's too late now. Don't call child protective services, stuff like that, because I mean, it was a little. You got a 9-year-old outside his mind, right? But you know, and that was the thing. So for him, it was always me. I was always the big brother, and then, you know, I was the oldest guy in the neighborhood. So I'd be in charge of all the young fellas, all the boys. It'd be my job to make sure we were safe. You know, and that old rule, you could leave the house for the day, you come back, you stay in. So we'd be out all day, and I would navigate this whole day, where we're gonna do this and do this, and we're gonna play every sport and all that stuff. So then, and my brother, he was always like, we would play pickup football and street ball, and you know, the easy way to watch somebody is to engage him. So I said, all right, look, my brother's playing, but he can't be tackled. You know, we tag for everybody else and tag for my brother. He's younger than us, and that's kind of how he developed the love for the game, and we ended up lucky enough being able to play
and being
football.
successful.
Oh yeah,
both
definitely.
of you.
Well, yes, but that's the other thing in our family. So like my dad, he always said this. He said, "Listen, whatever you do is your choice, but you better be damn good at it. You know, you're gonna be a mechanic, be a good one. You're gonna be a boxer, be a good one. You're gonna play football, you're gonna coach, be good." So even now to this day, he's still like, you know, if we don't score enough points, he called me and said, "Son, what's going on? Like you slacking? You need help?" No, sir. And then now, you know, he comes to every game. Him and my mom, they attend every Friday night there at my game, no matter where I'm playing. Every Saturday at my brother's, no matter where he's playing. Every Sunday they're watching the grandkids play Pop Warner.
But you see what you said, and I want to put that out there because you're an educator too.
Yes.
You're not just a coach, you're an educator. You said something that you might have thought got past you when you said, "Yes, sir," "No, sir." You didn't say, "Mm-hmm," or "suck your teeth," or any of that there. You understand the concept of protocol and discipline in the house. Now, that sensitivity of having that there, how is it that you and your coaching staff have gone from Newark Brick City, you've been given an opportunity in West Orange, which is still a working class city, but just maybe a little different as far as support and things of that nature there. How has that really catapulted your energy that you infuse in your players? Not just players, but your students.
Well, like we say, the uniform may change, the logo on the chest might change, but the energy in the program doesn't change. You know, we come with some principles and some standards and some things we do. And that, I mean, I'm from country folks, man. We moved, my parents are from South Carolina, we moved to the Bronx, so there's a sensibility to rules and order and a manner in which we carry out things. And that's how I am, that's how I coach. You know, you go to my team, I don't care if I'm in Irvington High School, I'm in Malcolm X Bass, I'm in West Orange. You ask my boys the question, it's yes or no, sir. Right? And the reason being is not because I want to glorify myself, but I'm trying to teach life lessons as well. And I'm trying to make my young men understand their place in this world and the totem pole of things. Like you're not going to be the GOAT on the first day, right? You got to build to it. You're not going to be at the end of it at your best. You be your best self on the first day, right? And the only way to become better is to do what? Learn from the ones who've gone before. So we have respect for, you know, those who come before us, tradition, right? And pageantry and all that stuff that comes with it. And as well as putting our young people in line succession. Look, you're next, right? You're following this progression. You're going to be the next great player here. And I think that's always been my thing and always been like a sense of history. But I was a history teacher by trade. So, you know, that's always having a sense of history and a sense of my place. And even guys like yourself, like learning.
Who you are.
Yeah, who I am.
You know,
and where we're going.
I want to say to you, and this is the first time I've ever said it, and that's this here, that you're not only inspiring and motivating, but you're consistent. And you can feel the energy. That is the fact that you know who you are and where you come from, and you're trying diligently to get where you envisioned yourself to be because you made your plan. Now, let's speak of the coaching staff, of the loyalty that you have. Bring that out too.
Oh man, so I mean, I've had the pleasure of being with these guys. Some of these guys, man, almost I feel like forever. I mean, Cyrus Hart, my defensive coordinator, we've been together. We've been best friends since 8th grade, right? And when I decided to coach, he was my first hire. So I was the freshman coach. I said, man, I need help. I need somebody to help me run this defense. He says, well, there's only one spot, so we split it in half. It's you and I. And I remember our first game, we were so excited to coach our first game. We're coaching freshmen playing Memorial West New York on a Friday afternoon, back with freshmen playing Friday afternoon. So I'm teaching at the time. I'm teaching at Thurgood Marshall Elementary, teaching 5th grade. And so that morning I call Cyrus and said, yo, listen, I'm gonna come to your house, pick you up, right? We had one car at the time. I had the only car. So drop me off at work, right? And then you'll get everything ready. Get our coaching clothes ready, get everything ready, pick me up. We're gonna win this game. He said, all right, I got you. I get off work, 2:30. I come outside the parking lot, no Cyrus. 2:45, no Cyrus. This before cell phone, Pooch. So I'm running back to the main office, calling his house, trying
You're
to
aging yourself.
Hey,
don't do
listen,
that.
man, it's a
you
blessing.
look young, but don't do that.
It is a blessing to be this age. I just turned 50 this year. I'm on my way to 51, and I feel like I don't feel old.
But you came through rough times.
Yeah, oh, definitely. I feel seasoned though. But anyway, he's not there. So me being me, I start walking. got my teaching bag on, I'm in hard bottom shoes, got a shirt and tie on. Then I'm getting close to the game, so I start running. So I'm running down Clinton Avenue to go coach the game. He overslept. I get there, I get the team together, I'm in shirt and tie, hard bottom shoes, right? Loose my tie, said, fellas, I had a rough day, but we're going to win this game. So I go and get the team, and we're down. We're down 2 scores. He shows up in a second. I said, what happened? I overslept because he worked nights. So
it can happen.
Yeah, so whatever. So we go, we coach the game, and we win. We come back, we throw a touchdown at the end of the game, we win the game. We're hooked, we're hugging each other. We couldn't believe that we won the game. You know, and that was just the thing. I mean, forget all that. I mean, 200.
Is that the little short guy?
Yes, yes, sir. And he's
a good guy.
A great
He's
guy,
a good guy.
Fantastic coach, man.
When you see you see him.
Yes.
You know, I wanted to speak in. I always speak of this here because I'm a daddy's boy.
Yeah.
I love my mama, but I'm a daddy's boy. You seem to be a mama's boy, but you're a daddy's boy too.
Well, while we sit in our house, mama's boy, daddy's man. And that's kind of.
Would you speak on that, please?
Yeah, so, and we love, you know my mom. You see her at every game. You see her, she's in concession stand, she's doing her thing.
Yeah.
And, you know, and she loved us.
She's the nurturer.
And nurtured us and grew us.
Your father's the shepherd.
Set the standard.
Why is that so important? Now, we're talking different times, different generations. How is it that you understand that? And is it getting better now?
Well, it's like we say, there's so for us, I was blessed, right? Blessed to have my dad my whole time. My dad's still a major part of my life. And I was blessed enough to have him and have an example. So then coming and giving back and going now and being in the educational realm and coaching, things of that nature. So all I ever try to do for my guys is be the example I had. That's it. Like I don't, like people are like, well, like I'm not going to raise you, but I'm going to show you. You're going to see me every day. Right? I'm coming to work every day. Right? And I'm coming to work every day and I'm giving you what I got every single day. Nah, I'm not taking the day off. I'm not going to slack you. I'm not going to not coach. I'm not going to short you. I'm not going to have advice or examples or a way to point you. I'm going to give you my best every single day. That's what I got growing up, his best. So that's infectious. And my coaches are the same way. I mean, I have Chuck Keegan, been with me 15 years, Donald Massey, the young guy, been with us 12 years. And some of these guys, I mean, some guys are my former teammates or guys I've coached or guys I've collected along the way.
Or you've coached.
Or I coached them as well. But again, I tell them we set the standard and it doesn't change. You know, it's the same every year. Then we want the very, very best. But to get the best, you have to do what? Give your best.
Also, I want to bring out how it has a certain amount of passion that you deal with handicapped students.
Yes.
That's not an easy task.
No, it's not.
How has that helped you to navigate the blessings that you have and the shortcomings that your students don't have, not because of their own doing, but because of that's the way the ball fell?
Well, what do you say? We only as strong as what? Our weakest link. So if you're going to be a shepherd, right, are your goals to do what? Raise not just not be a front runner, protect the ones that can't protect themselves, and help our weakest links. If we can make our weakest links stronger, we can make them whole, then what? The chain is even that more fortified, that stronger. So for me, I'm like, it's always been my niche. For some reason, I guess maybe because I was a hard to handle kid. So maybe my niche has always been I connect with those guys and those guys and girls on a different level. And I'm able to see, I guess, hopefully see the real child and see the real person inside, right? Despite all the nonsense and what other people may try to put on them. And from there, try to help them be their best selves.
So are you saying that it's not really about football? That's your vehicle that you use to navigate them through whatever chaoticness they might be going through.
Yes. I mean, my goal for my young men is always what? To get to college, right? To get and graduate, right? They say from our community, a man with a college degree is going to earn $1.3 million more than someone who doesn't have one. So every time we get a young man off and done what have we done, we create a millionaire, right? Based upon what they tell us. So my thing is if I can push my guys and nurture them and grow them and sometimes kind of kick them in the butt a little bit, right? To get them to where they need to be, what have we done? That's how we change, right? You say you want to give back to what? We want to build the community. How? You build the community by building stronger men to lead. So that's my goal. So we try to be, we try to be whatever, like try to fill all the gaps. Be all things to everyone. So those who need the discipline, we hear that. Those who need just a path, I'll give you a plan. Those who,
How proud are you of your brother that is pretty successful himself?
Oh my God, I mean, that's my favorite coach. If you ask me who's the best coach I know, my brother, right? And he, I mean, he was able to do such magical things at Hillside and just turn it around so fast. And we call it Grant ball, right? And
Grant ball.
Grant ball. So we don't play football; we play Grant ball. It's so we got a way in which we do things.
That's different.
And a few secrets that only we have, right? And things we developed over the years. And then we
Did you put a patent on that?
No, I should. Right?
I think you should.
I should write it and mail it to myself, something like that. But so that's what you end up doing. But that's the thing. So it's like, and then to go and even like see, even when our teams like come together, like we do a 7-on-7 or a scrimmage.
Yeah, we scrimmage each other.
Yeah, sometimes. And then things, and sometimes we just work this train together, right? And to hear the kids, hear his kids talk, right? And they're saying the same things, repeating things that my kids say, like, yeah, they do that too, coach. Yeah, I know. I said, you're in the system. You're in the system, you're a part of something. You're a part of something that you'll see at one point, hopefully be greater than yourself.
Let me ask you this. How has it helped to have a feeder program and a community that has embraced you when you were an outsider?
Well, you know what though, it wasn't easy. I'm not gonna ever like joke about or act like it was an easy task. Coming from outside and coming from where we come from, sometimes people kind of look at you with the side eye a little bit because they look at whatever stereotypes or whatever negative things that they've heard.
But that's America.
Yeah, that's America, and they try to put it on you, and I'm like, I'm not that. So it's been great to kind of dig in and build with these people. We're on our fourth year now, and it's finally coming the way we wanted to come. I think we've had the success that we really wanted to have last season, and the program's built, so now there's a level of trust. So they know me.
And support.
Yeah, and support, and great support. And that's the one thing, we have great parents.
Also want to bring to the forefront, how is it, or I think needs to be showcased, the difference of, there is no difference in kids per se.
No.
From an ethical perspective, how has that been challenging to you too?
Well, so for me,
people would think.
Yeah, people think they say, oh, well,
because they try to make nuances and it's none.
They ask you why you coaching, what are you doing differently that you didn't do at your last place? So I'm like, nothing. So I coach exactly the same. I said, a kid's a kid to me. I said, and you'll be surprised that some of the struggles that we've had, it's so similar because kids are kids. A child's a blank slate, right? Us as adults, we got all these hang-ups and our own takes and perspectives and opinions that we place on things. But kids are kids. They come every day, bright-eyed, and what you tell them, they want to learn. They want someone to teach them, whether they're white or black or brown or whatever they are, wherever they come from. Once we get in between those lines, it's all the same. They want to learn, they want to win, they want to compete, and they want to be better. They want someone to teach them how to do those things.
Well, it's glad to know that you're cognizant of the obstacles that were confronting you, and you dealt with them in a very, very mature way that is beyond your years. But again, it goes back to the foundation which you came from.
Yes.
And the geographical concrete jungle of the Empire State to the concrete jungle of Brick City and Irvington, because there is no difference between the two. When you were in school in particular, there was no difference of Camptown and Brick City.
Interchangeable. It's interchangeable. But the thing about it was, I wasn't this guy 10 years ago. I think that when we were very successful in Irvington, but when I came to Newark, when I came to the Bricks, I got my master class in coaching. I was lucky to catch like good brothers like Altrick White at the tail end, and he kind of helped me like shape, like to put the final touches, the finishing touches, so to speak, on our coaching philosophy and our methodology. I mean, good brothers like Dave McCombs, learning from Dave and talk with him. Good brothers like Luke Grimsley, man, and Vanessa Watson, a sister like that, and watching her coach and watching the things she's able to do and how she's able to build the program and keep the standard being the standard. Like winning every year, not up and down. Every year having just a standard of excellence. And I think that those experiences and those folks shaped me and made me and prepared me to come to Western Orange and be able to do what we've been able to do.
How challenging was it for you to go to Shabazz after playing Shabazz in high school?
Well, the one thing about our beloved Brick City, and at the time I was in Newark, I was living in Newark, owned a house on Richmond Place, all that good stuff, and you got to earn your way. They didn't care about how many games you won prior or how many Thanksgivings you won or no. You had to earn, you had to prove it, and you were an outsider until you earned your keep. So I remember in 2014, my brother, Big Hassan Williams, right? We won the state championship, won our first ever championship at Shabazz. I'm walking off the field, big old brother grabs me, gives me a kiss on the forehead, said, "That's from the alumni. You one of us now." Now, mind you, we had never had to lose a season. We had been to playoffs every year I've been there. I mean, and things were going good. But until that point, until I earned my keep, I guess, I wasn't it.
Wasn't the dog.
No, I wasn't a dog yet. And then after that, man, brothers like Obalaji Baraka and Archie Reynolds and all those good brothers, man, you had to earn your way. So to be honest, coming from that and that experience and having to, I guess, kind of make your bones, cut your teeth a little bit, like, there's nothing. Everything else is pretty easy. There's only one Brick City. If you can make it there, you can make it anywhere.
You know, it's such a pleasure to talk to you because your wisdom, your philosophies, and your intuitions are so beyond your years. Although you're half of 100 now.
Sir.
So it's time.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'll say. It's time. Aside from that, how is it going with the kids getting into different schools?
Well, man, that's been fantastic. This past season, we had 9 young men sign scholarships. You know, off of this year's team, we've had 19 Division I players in the 4 years I've been at West Orange. We've had 100% college placement. I mean, same we had in Newark, though. I mean,
Is it hard to get kids in school coming from the urban city, which considered suburban?
Well, see, it's back to the standard, right? Back to the standard. So it's also our standards are on the field standard, but it's in the classroom standard too. Like for me, my guys know you don't pass, you don't play. Irregardless, I've had fantastic players that had to sit down because they weren't getting it done in the classroom. Like I always felt like as a player myself, I felt like the game owed me a little bit more than it gave me at the end. You know, coming out of high school, I felt like I was
Haven't heard that in a while.
I felt like I was a better player than maybe my situation. But no one gave me that guidance, or I put the blueprint in front of me. So my thing is, every kid, all my boys got a blueprint, and you're going to toe the line. You're going to do your part. So when you get them,
do your part,
and then the
our
rest,
part is done.
And then the rest is easy. Because then now you coming to me. So now, I mean, it's all about trust, right? So you're a college coach and you're a recruiter. And what's your job? Not coaching, it's recruiting, right? And retention. You got to bring a guy that's going to stay. So you come to me and you got a guy that's been a 3.0 or 3.1 or 3.2 the whole time he's been in high school. And then it doesn't make any difference where.
The discouragement is not there.
Yeah, exactly. And,
they will complete.
And there's a pattern of success. So the kid knows he can get it done. He'll find a way, by hook or by crook. And it doesn't matter. See, and it doesn't matter where. It doesn't matter if it's Irvington or Newark or West Orange. Because if you're a high flyer, and I demanded you be a high flyer academically the whole time, it doesn't matter where you go because you have those skills.
The question, though, D, is that coming from Patterson, Newark, Camden, what's the difference as far as that there? You said that it's a standard. Now, does that start from the aptitude perspective as much as it does the individual not knowing that they have it inside of them?
See, that's a hard question for me to answer because I always believed that everything starts with hard work.
There's a way.
Right? If you work hard enough at anything, you're going to have success, right?
But if a child or young man asks you this, because this is a probable question that a parent could ask, what can you do? Well, if I would rebate that if he does all that he is supposed to do, I'll do my part. And some.
So
but he has to give me his best.
So I tell my guys like this. I say, listen, I can't make them take you. I can't call on the phone. I can't call Nick Saban and say, give this guy a scholarship, right? I can't do that. No one can do that because the guy's he's betting his livelihood and his family's livelihood on these guys, on these recruits he brings in. So he has to want him himself. But it's my job to make sure that they see you.
Going back to that, on a couple other segments I spoke of how in America, see, at one time they said it was white and black, whereas I was always taught it's conscious and unconscious because that is not no more. Those that are like that there on either side have a problem because everyone needs everyone. We found that out with the COVID-19, which had never been hit. We went through the AIDS epidemic and measles and all the other different sicknesses through the years and decades. But this was the first one where everyone was at a panic. But by the same aspect, we have only come through it to this point. We still are getting through it. But we had to come together and understand that I need you as much as you need me, because no man is an island. You can alienate yourself, though.
Mm-hmm.
If your hand is closed so tight you can't put nothing in, you can't get nothing out.
That's right.
So I say this to you to say, it's a beautiful thing to see young brothers like yourself that have used your athletics as a vehicle, as I did too, to go to our highest height. You're to be commended for that there, because you're just doing what was given to you. And that's a blessing, and you're giving much more than you would think that you think you're giving.
I hope so. I hope that when I'm done with this thing, right, you can't take anything with you. You can't take the trophies with you. You can't take the rings, or you can't take the money with you. The only thing you can leave is your work, right?
Well, the
So I
thing
hope
is that after
yeah.
a while, you know, my mother used to say to me, and I used to really despise it, trophies, plaques, and all that stuff, they're dust collectors, because at some point in time, it's not about me. It's
Yep.
about you.
Exactly.
I've had my time. Now, hopefully, I can help you to navigate to go to higher heights.
Yes. Like be a bridge, right? Be a bridge for others, and hopefully you can stand on my shoulders to go to your next height. And that's all I can do. Like I appreciate
Pull
you.
somebody else up. Pull
Yeah,
somebody
exactly.
else up.
I appreciate you for having this platform. You know, and you know, again, my brother, always like, you know, but I always kind of, you know, I always find you always stick to you because of the fact that, you know, there's always someone to learn from. There's always teachers, right? I just hope that people watch this program understand that. Find your teachers. Find the people that can give you the information.
We've been pretty blessed. I've tried to make the format whereas it is informative, supporting, direct, exact, and profound and proficient. You will get the truth. You will get what you need to help fill your cup if your cup is getting low or empty.
Yes.
That's what this is about.
Yes.
It's not about proliferating anything that is not going to inspire or motivate someone that might be down right now. Doesn't mean always.
Yes.
On that, I want to say we've been so blessed today to have Coach D. Grant here, and he is a pillar of strength and a beacon of light to all the youth that he comes in contact with, coaching on the football field and coaching that are handicapped, but not only that, they're as a walking beam of light, because the fact he understood and understands where he's come from, where he's going, and he's trying to take others with him. And on that note, I would like to say thank you.
Thank you.
And also want to say, as I always close my segments, before we can love all people, we must first love ourselves. And within saying that there, I hope to see you next time. This is Deadline. I'm Poochie Hill. Thank you very much.